with this promise from above. God gave him the dream of leadership and influence. This is something that's going to take place later in his life. But the moment that favor showed up, so did jealousy. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The pit was empty. I refer to this as the pit was full of emptiness. Right? There was no water. There was no comfort. There was no favoritism. There was no love from the Father. There was no support. In fact, he felt the opposite of supported. I think sometimes we go through the dry season of our lives and we feel very much like Joseph did that night. I think sometimes we go through life and we feel very alone. And we feel like maybe the blessings of God aren't pouring out as fast as they used to. But I want you to understand that's the moment that faith kicks in. Because the reality is, even if the prayers are not answered, will we still trust Him? Even if we don't get the things and the desires of our heart, will we still trust Him? Even if, like the disciples in the early church, going through the persecution, being put to death, will we still trust Him? When our family betrays us and throws us into the pit, and we're so angry and we're so frustrated, will we still trust Him? Here's the thing. The pit wasn't the punishment or a punishment. The pit was for positioning. Right? The pit was getting Joseph ready. Joseph was not ready to be the leader in Egypt that he would be one day. He got a lot of growing up to do. I remember those thoughts I shared with you about that young kid coming out into the field going, my daddy loves me more than he loves you. And you're going to be my slave. Oh, you can word it however you want. It got bad enough that the brother said, I'm killing him. If he walks out here one more time, I'm going to kill him. No. Back up just a minute. Calm down. I don't know. I think it would have been a bad thing to fall into the hand of those angry brothers. Don't you? But it wasn't punishment. It was positioning. Joseph had to stop being that kid that was saying, well, look at what I'm about to get. There's some humility that is going to take place in this young man's life. Even to the point that he's accused of things he didn't do with that woman. You see, Joseph didn't do anything wrong. He didn't sin his way into the pit. And I think that's something as Christians we need to understand. Just because we go through those dry moments in our lives or those moments where it seems like the prayers aren't getting through, or it just seems like there's one storm after another, and we just think, God, is this the end? We need to understand that your sin didn't bring that on. Sometimes it's just the reality of life reminding us this place is not our home. Right? The series of storms, it might be to position us for the palace later on. It might be to position us for some blessing that we're not ready to receive yet. What do you think would have happened if they would have put Joseph that day in charge of Egypt? Oh my. He would not have been thrown into a well. His brothers were merciful. The Egyptians would have killed him quickly. Stand up there in the palace and say, hey, by the way, you're all going to be my slaves because God told me. That's not happened for that young man. By the way, this is a young man that we've thrown into the well. Now we look at it with a different perspective, don't we? Oh, for a young man